Right now, as I speak, people in the Kremlin are sitting in shock, in great concern, trying to figure out what's going on and what to do next. Russian oil, Urals, is currently trading at $52 a barrel. 4 trading days ago, it was trading at $62 a barrel. So it's lost 15.5% of price in just a few days. $52 a barrel is a death sentence for Russian economy. Russian federal budget is balanced if Ural's oil price is at $70 a barrel. If this price stays at $52 or lower for a few months, it'd be game over for Russian government. On top of it, on top of dropping oil prices, a new data is released. Every fifth transportation company has closed down in just a couple months. And as the icing of the cake, all civic industries are in deep decline, and even the military industrial complex has stopped growing. Vladimir Putin has just had the worst week since the start of the war. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any lies, BS, or propaganda here. Instead, you'll find truth, common sense, and logic. Some emotions too, because I am a human being after all. Please pardon my breathing and coughing. I'm still recovering from bronchitis, so, still not 100%. Anyway, I can't really stay away from the camera and the microphone because so many things are happening right now that, I can't miss it. Before I start, I'd like to mention two things. First, I speak of current state of Russian economy quite often. I do regular updates, and the last time I spoke of it was about a week ago. So many things have changed in a week that a new update is needed, and I'm going to do a brief update of the key indicators. And second, what's happening right now, as I speak, not only concerns Russia any longer, but the entire world. Most countries, stock markets, and economies in general are crashing right now. Global oil prices also crashing. We are seeing the beginning of the Great Reset. I never believed it would come. I thought it was just a conspiracy theory, but I was wrong. The world economies are resetting right now. Well, this is just the start of this process. And it's been started not by Charles Schwab or other elitists, as people said they would start it. I've heard it many times. But it's been started by Donald Trump. Who would have thought? Anyway, I want to emphasize, it's not just Russia. It's the global community that's being affected. Oh, crumbling, really. But Russia is going to get it the worst. Why? You will understand at the end of this live stream. I will try to explain in very simple language. Now I'll give you a little life hack. If you want to learn what's current status of any economy, but you don't have access to any economic data, go to any truck stop where truckers eat and sleep and talk to them. If they have plenty of orders, if they are paid well, if they're happy, if trucking companies hire, and there are more vacancies than candidates, then economy is doing well because they transport lots of products. But if they complain, if they have downtime waiting for orders, if there's a great competition for orders and for the jobs, and trucking companies don't pay them well, then there is trouble in the economy. Truckers' load is an economic indicator of overall situation in the economy. albeit a rough one. If you approach a Russian trucker and ask how things are right now, well, most likely in return you would get a lot of swearing. Russian transportation industry is not doing well at all. Since the start of let me turn this off. Since the start of this year, January 2025, every fifth trucking company, has closed down its doors. 20% of the entire truck transportation industry has disappeared in just under 3 months. Trucking companies don't earn enough to make lease payments and are returning trucks and close the doors down. The reasons for that are fairly straightforward. There's lack of cargo, ever-increasing costs, debts, and high interest rates of 30% and more. So, 20% of the companies have closed down, and the rest of the companies not doing well. They're heading towards bankruptcies. Well, at least many are. The sources of this information are two trucking industry associations, AvtoGruz-X and Gruz-Avtotrans, Russia's largest leasing company, Alpha Leasing, and a newspaper, Izvestia. But perhaps it's just trucking industry. Perhaps there has been an increase in transportation by railroads. Perhaps the businesses have switched from transporting by trucks to transporting by rail. Well, not really. This shows you that in March of 2025, loading on the Russian railroad network that belongs to RZD, it's the monopolist in Russia that owns all railroad track, belongs to the government. So loading on RZD amounted to 97.7 million tons of goods, which is 7.2% less than 1 year ago, in March 2024. The source of this information is the company itself, the Russian railroads. In the first quarter, I'm just going to give you what kind of cargoes were transferred, from what kind of industries, what kind of products. So in the first quarter of 2025, railroads shipped coal minus 2% compared to the first quarter of 2024. Coal minus 9.9%. Oil and petroleum products minus 5.9%. Iron and manganese ores minus 0.9%. Ferrous metals minus 13.1%. Ferrous scrap minus 22.2%, chemical and mineral fertilizers, plus 7.6%, cement, minus 13.5%, timber cargo, plus 0.1%, grain, minus 30.8%, construction materials and goods, minus 23.2%, non-ferrous and sulfur ores, plus 0.9%, chemicals and soda, minus 2.4%. Industrial raw materials and molding materials, minus 16.7%. And the rest, including cargo in containers, minus 3.8%. Well, that shows you that the only increase in transporting cargo through railroads is in fertilizers. That's it. All other industries are down big time. And, some industries just a catastrophe. For example, cement industry, construction material and goods, minus 23.2%, grain, minus 30%, cement, minus 13%, Ferrous scrap minus 22%. It's just, incredible. So there hasn't been a shift from truck hauling to rail transportation. Now, this gives us a pretty good indication of how the economy doing these days. By the way, according to the Ministry of Economic Development, Russia's GDP slowed down in February. It slowed down from 3% in January to 0.8%, less than 1% in February. GDP is mostly based on country's industry, so the number also gives us understanding of current state of events in the industry. Another honorable mention is to the growth of salaries. For couple years, salaries were growing in Russia because the competition for people heated up and unemployment went down record low to about 2%. So therefore, both military-industrial complex and civil industries, they were competing for laborers, for workers, and the only way they could attract more people was to raise the salaries. No more. The growth of salaries has slowed down from 11.3% in December to 6.5% in January. That's by 50%, and we still don't have the data for February and March, but that's going to be much, much lower. That's for sure. That's huge difference that 1 month makes. Look, 11.3 in December, 6.5 in January. Wow. The source of this information is the Deputy Minister of Industry, Asmakov. He delivered the information at a speech at Russian Parliament last week. And I also hear the same information from my sources when I contact them in Russia. Now imagine the situation when salaries, wages don't grow, they stay the same, but the inflation is galloping and the prices rise, 5, 6, 7% every month. So the prices for everything, especially for food. And this is what's happening right now. Russian people can simply afford less and less every month. I remember this situation that happened in the early 90s, and it's not pretty. My parents, when they got paid, they ran to stores to buy anything they could get their hands on, because they knew that if they would return following day, they could afford less. And this is what starts happening in Russia. Salary is not growing, prices going up. That's the inflation. And that's a part of vicious circle. The less they can afford, the less demand for goods and services, and the economy shrinks even more. Do you want an example? Well, right here on the surface. Russian car automaker AvtoVAZ just officially suspended production of Lada cars due to near zero demand and a large overstock. Why people aren't buying Ladas? Well, simply because they can't afford them. They didn't have money to pay for the entire car in the past, so they went to a bank and got loans. Now, car loan starts, 30 plus, I'd say 35, around 35% annual, and people just don't take car loans any longer. And, car is a luxury. You eat first. You buy medicine first. You send your kids to school first, and then you buy a car. That's a very good indicator what's happening. No wonder that the inflation has accelerated. Check this out. That's official data. Now the official annual inflation rate amounts to 10.24%. Inflation. Just one example. The potatoes have doubled in price recently, and the parliament is discussing how to establish state price control on potatoes. I've heard that music before. In the USSR, it wasn't pretty, okay? Although, even in the USSR, we had potatoes. We had plenty of potatoes. I couldn't complain about potatoes. That's all we ate. That was a staple. And we grew potatoes just in case. By the way, I personally hate growing potatoes because it was mandatory when I was a child. I started at the age of around 4 years old. At my uncle's farm, we would go in May, plant potatoes, and then September, late August, would come back to harvest them. Tedious, hard work. Can't stand it. Anyway, I've given you some details, and before I move to the big picture, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for watching my videos and live streams. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sending me feedback, liking, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being part of this community. Please know that you sending me messages, asking me questions, praying along with me and for me. And by the way, thank you for praying for me lately. I've been recovering from bronchitis. Thank you so much. I feel it. And sending you love absolutely inspires me. It grows wings behind my back, keeps me going. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you for buying me coffees at buymecoffee.com, for supporting through Patreon and PayPal. I give you a promise, demonetized or monetized, and I'm currently demonetized, and I'm not making any money from YouTube. But it doesn't matter. I still go in front of this camera, microphone, and I give you the truth about Russia because I can't be silent. Thank you for support. I think at this point, you understand the general picture of what's happening in Russia. It all has come down to stagflation. Not around the corner, not sometimes in the future, not close by. Here and now, stagflation. A nasty thing, a simultaneous appearance of high inflation, rising prices, slow or negative growth, and high unemployment. But let's be fair, stagflation in Russia was expected. I did a live stream explaining stagflation a few months ago and showing the risks of it in Russia and the signs that stagflation was coming. So, it was expected. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable, stagflation. Russia is going to be in this state of economic phenomena called stagflation for quite some time. Well, so I call this economic tsunami also, because this is a perfect storm that's spinning above Russia and But anyway, everything that I have said up to this point has been expected. But this past week, something happened that no one expected. I did not expect that. Donald Trump started the Great Reset. He introduced high tariffs on products imported to the USA from tons of countries. And other countries hit the USA back with tariffs on American goods. The latest development, China has hit the USA back with tariffs 34%. And Donald Trump has just threatened China that if they don't retract their tariffs by tomorrow, the USA will put another tariff on top of the already existing one, 50% more, so American consumers will be paying 100% more for most of things that they buy at the stores. So I certainly did not expect that. If it continues, the result will be complete and utter reformatting of world economic order, of the world economy as we know it. It kind of reminds me the crash of the USSR. What happened with the economy of the USSR? That all of a sudden, it was one large economic space, industrial space, and all of a sudden, overnight, it broke down into 16 pieces, and all the connections, cooperation between the pieces actually was gone overnight. And it was confusion and panic, and no one knew what to do. This is where the world is heading to very, very fast. So I lived through it. We lived through it in Russia. Well, I guess we're going to live through it one more time, only on the cosmic scale, on the scale of the world. By the way, I think it would be a good topic to tell you about what happened in the USSR with industry. And I will give you examples, perhaps one of the latest streams. Anyway, the result will be complete and utter reformatting of the world economic order. A new economic deal will emerge in a few years, where new economic ties will be created. And it's really hard to say who going to be aligned with who, and who will be allied with who, and it's boiling right now. By the way things are going right now, two things are probable. Okay, first is the USA will not be the leader of this new economic world order because, well, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to understand that. Any economist will tell you that. But I'm not here to discuss the US economy. In short run, the world is descending into economic chaos, okay? So main implications, two things. To me, they're crystal clear right now. What's going to happen if all of this mess continues for, I don't know, quite some time? And it's, even if all the tariffs are nullified tomorrow, the damage is done, or at least some of the damage. So the world will not go back to what it was before, okay? We are in a different economic state right now. We're living, we are merged into it, okay? So two things are crystal clear for me. One, people all over the world, in all countries, will become poorer, most of people. And the few rich folks will become richer. Those folks who were sitting behind Donald Trump at his inauguration, I think you all saw them, they will get richer. And number two, price of oil will drop significantly. We are seeing it happening right now in front of our eyes, but this is just the beginning. Because economic chaos will bring first instability, and second, economic declines, crises all over the world, less production, therefore less oil needed. And everyone will be trying to make up lower price by selling more, by volume. All oil producers. So they will flood the world with oil. So oil is going to be getting real cheap. And that's a huge blow to Russia. You see, oil is the bread maker of Russian economy. I've said that many times before. No gas, no oil, no Russian economy. We have history of that happening, okay? Let's look at 1998. A very similar situation happened. What is happening right now, a financial crisis in the Asian countries, and oil prices just dropped. Remember how much you paid for gas at the pumps back in 98? I do. I had a Pontiac Sunbird, which fairly economic car, an old one. I was a student, didn't have much money. So I really watched how much I paid for gas. And before the crisis, let's say 97 or 96, I paid somewhere around $23 to fill my tank. And in 1998, I paid less than $10 to fill the tank. That was the difference. And at that time, Russia suffered huge In August of 1998, it defaulted national debt. It didn't pay government bonds, defaulted. And a huge political crisis broke out right that instant. And by the way, Vladimir Putin got into power as a result of that crisis. So Russia has been there before. And now the situation is even worse. You see, back then, Russia was not isolated. It was not sanctioned. It was not ostracized. It was trading with the world. It's just the price of oil dropped, okay? But the metals, it still exported the metals. It still exported agricultural products, wheat and other commodities. And it had helped. It got helped. It received help from the International Monetary Fund, $10 billion to bail Russia out. And the IMF did bail out. The international community came in, gave Russia money, and bailed it out. Okay? It gave Russia a hand and pulled it away from swamp. Now it's different. Oil is Russia's only hope. Oil jumped to over 100 back in 2022 because there was instability in the world and no one knew what's going to happen. And Russia reaped the benefits. Okay, it acquired so much money, so many dollars that it could last. The Russian economy could last for 3 years. Okay, fighting a war with Ukraine. So oil is the only hope. Natural gas is no more. It's not supplied to Europe and it's supplied to China, but Russia's not making any much money there, if any. So oil is only hope. And Russia's budget is balanced at $70 per barrel. Okay, that's if only if oil is sold at $70, then the budget is fairly stable and balanced. So right now it's being traded at 52, 25% less. That's a catastrophe, okay? This is why I think that people in the Kremlin are sitting and the jaws are dropping, and they're just watching the oil trade and Russian oil Urals price going down. So that's the big picture. Then, remember, in the beginning of the live stream I told you, I think that Russia is going to be hit the worst out of all countries. See, it's economic mess all over the world, okay? For one simple reason. Other countries have normally functioning economies, and they have some space to maneuver. For example, they produce and export lots of products to the United States. Now the United States is hitting them with tariffs. Well, American consumers get hit with tariffs, really, because the tariffs paid by importing companies in the USA. They are hit by the tariffs that they impose on American goods. That is hurting those countries. They can take their goods and try to sell someplace else. Like, for example, China. What I expect is going to happen. Right now, China obviously is not going to import so many goods to the United States, and it's overstocked with everything. Consumer electronics, clothing, cars, you name it. So it's going to be selling everywhere else all over the world for cheap, trying to get rid of it, okay? Sell it even to Russia, okay? Because I don't think that China is going to care about the sanctions anymore at this crazy economic state. So Russians could and everyone in the world can expect cheap Chinese goods, okay? So other countries, they can go to the United States, to Donald Trump, and start making deals, offering something, I don't know, something personally or something to the country. It doesn't matter, right? this is the place to maneuver. For example, right now we're seeing Israel. Netanyahu is in the United States getting ready to meet Donald Trump to talk about the tariffs. It's called political and economic maneuvering. Russia has no space to maneuver because Russia doesn't produce anything except for raw materials, resources. And Russian resources are not needed any longer. They cost little compared to what they used to cost because there's a slowing demand for everything, okay? For Russian aluminum, and that's sanctioned, by the way, for Russian oil, for Russian metals, rare earth. The only thing that Russia still exports in large quantities, fairly decent prices, fertilizers. They're needed all over the world, okay? So Russia is stuck with nothing to offer, nothing that is needed in the world markets anymore. It does not produce any goods, services, and raw materials are not needed. This is why in my humble opinion, Russia is going to get hit a huge deal. And if what we're seeing right now is somehow miraculously is not going to be fixed within a week or so, and then low oil prices will stay for at least a few months, then it's going to be incredibly hard for Putin to continue maintaining his state. What's next? Chaos. Economic chaos will follow. Budget cuts for everything. Well, you know what? There is not much to cut, actually. If they cut more of education, the schools will simply close down. I don't think that's going to happen, okay? So they can cut a little bit, but that's not going to make it or break it, okay? Medicine, healthcare, they've cut tremendously into healthcare. They have nothing else to cut. The only cut they can do is siloviki, spendings and salaries of those government agencies who support Putin's vertical of power. But that's a very shaky path to step on, because if those people with guns who support Putin will start getting less money, you know, if I were Putin, I'd be scared. Okay, so but he has no alternative. At least I'm not seeing one. Layoffs, and they have already begun. Right now, there's a wave of layoffs in healthcare of medical doctors, medical employees, and so forth. Not in Moscow, but by the way, in Moscow, they just a mayor announced that there are so many thousands of doctors. Moscow is short of so many thousands of doctors. So Moscow is in trouble also, okay? Salary delays. Oh, I've seen that. My parents got delayed their salaries. My dad wasn't paid for 11 months. And then he came to not complain, but he came to demand. He said, look, I have nothing to eat. I was in the United States. Well, hopefully I was sending him a little money. But he said, hey, I need my salary. His boss looked at him and he said, look, this air conditioner, you can take it and sell it, but we don't have any money. So my dad took the air conditioner and actually sold it, okay? That's what's coming to Russia again, all over again. And it's not pretty. When they say really hard, crazy 90s, that's what they mean, okay? 90s were, in my mind, it's a pretty good time, but they were tremendous difficulties. And the same difficulties Russia is facing again. And Putin is the person who has brought down to Russia to this point. The most important thing, out of all, there won't be money to spend on the war. The war spending will be the last they'll be cut into, but hey, they will be forced to. They will not make as many rockets, ammo, guns, tanks, planes, so forth. The only way out for Putin financially I can think of is to print money. But you know what? That's a dead end. you can print money, and that's gonna help you only for so long, for very short time, for months, not for years. Okay, by printing, he has started printing press, but if he intensifies and continues, this is gonna be it, the end of the economy. Inflation will be hundreds, perhaps thousands percent, and he's not gonna last long. So things are getting interesting in Russia. Friends, thank you so much. I would like to remind you one thing. There are so many news come out every single day, and I simply don't have enough time, resources to cover everything in live streams because I do one live stream a day, and this is my physical limit, okay? But there are so many news, and I carefully select 9 news per day. I comment, I do analysis, and I post for patrons of Inside Russia on Patreon. The news that I find important, that matter. If you want to stay on top things Russia, don't know where to look for information, look no further. Now you know where to find it. I'm going to place the link after the end of this live stream. My message is over. I would like to invite everyone to the live stream chat. We have about 25 minutes. Before I turn the live stream chat, I would like to remind you that we do not discuss US politics. I know US politics is a thing right now, and the thing is, it affects everyone. The Europeans, the Asians, the South Americans, the Canadians, the Mexicans. But this isn't the place to discuss this topic. We discuss in Russia, so please stay away. I have asked the mods to delete the comments about US economy, about US politicians. Again, this isn't the place. Thank you so much. Please keep this community nice, pleasant, the way it has been for years now. And that is thanks to the moderators of Inside Russia, Lorna, Mami K, Bob S, Harry Potter, Namir, and Dirk. Thank you, friends. And if you're new at this channel, if you're new to the community, please know that these people are the best moderators in the world, in the universe, because, hey, our world is the universe, so to speak. So thank you, friends. I'm feeling a little bit better. Not 100%, as you can hear from my short of breath. Sometimes, stuff. I'm very upset about what's going on with my health because I get sick constantly, I have a good doctor who's looking at me, after me. Still get sick all the time. I hate that, by the way. Like after this live stream, I'm going to rush to a nearby hospital and do an IV. I'm going to finish antibiotic. Well, 3 more IVs, 3 more days. My veins hurt from IVs. Terry, good to see you. I'm very sorry that you missed the live stream on Saturday. We had live stream just for the patrons of Inside. All right. As usual, friends, if you want me to answer your question or see your comment, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after that sign so I see it highlighted in large orange box. Much easier for me to see. And if I don't answer you, it doesn't mean that I ignore you. It means that I just didn't see your comment or answer. Keep on putting your comment. So I'm going to take it easy, okay? Let's do it like 20 minutes and... oh, yeah. Well, It sounds worse than it is, really. Howdy, friends. Leitmotiv, howdy, Aaronka, everyone. You know, Stefan, Daniel, Terry, KG1, Jodes, Barnabas, BR, thank you. Scott Nesbitt, good to see you. Gregory, Florioli, thank you. Pamela, Petra Olson, howdy. By the way, we keep on praying for you, Petra. Would you be, do you want us to pray for you or not? Let me know, please. Ooh. Roy Cousins, Roman, Aaronka, Mr. Kaliski, and Janice. Andrew from South Africa, howdy. Remy, hello. Kate Topfield, don't push it. Well, you know what? I love this, okay? I love sharing what I see. Some things no one else sees, okay? Not too many. Some things other experts repeat what I say about the economy, but some things are unique, and definitely my angle is unique. And I absolutely love sharing my views with everyone. And when I get sick, or, if I take a break, we had a discussion with Manos. I really enjoy first 3 days, perhaps 4. And after that, I start getting not bored, but I start missing YouTube. I tend to go check news and check emails and things like that, So I really love this, and I'm not pushing it. I'm fine except for the cough. I don't think I'm damaging myself much by speaking to you right now. So I think I'm fine, but this is therapeutic for me, And I hate when I can't live stream or make video due to feeling not so well. Wolf Spider 83. Thank you. I'm doing my best. Helen, stress causes unwellness. Thank you, Helen. You're absolutely right. My doctor, actually, all possible blood work tests we did, okay? And her verdict is this. She said there are some disbalances, vitamins, minerals, some inflammations. We're going to take care of it. But she said cortisol and sleep. There's 2 things that really are do wonders and miracles. Cortisol, low cortisol. She said even if when you come to see me, you're all stressed. I see it in your shoulders, and that's like a physician telling me, okay? And then she said, she laid out a plan. She said, we're going to work on that. So I better come up with lots of money because I don't have insurance. And then that's costing me. Not as much as in the United States, of course. Medicine is cheaper here, much cheaper. But still, it adds up. So Lorna, Bob, great to see you. Lorna, we've been doing it. Is mommy here? Lorna, we've been doing this for 4 years now, right? 4 or 5. I think it was 2019. So that's 6 years. I started streaming in the summer of 2019. I think that's it. Anyway, long time. Chris Angel, by how much do you think oil prices would rise if America attacked Iran? I don't have a crystal ball. Okay. I don't know. They could rise by a lot, but let's consider that OPEC plus countries are pumping out lots of oil right now. They are increasing their production and they're far from hitting the limit, okay? Saudi Arabia itself just, was it OPEC plus countries or Saudi Arabia exclusively? Anyway, they upped production by 400,000 gallons. No, not gallons, barrels. 400,000 barrels per day, okay? And that's far from what they can do. So if needed, they can increase production. I'm not sure if the USA can. Russia certainly cannot, okay? Russia is having big problems because 52 is basically, this is $52 a barrel for Russian oil. This is it. It's not profitable. If the price drops to 45 for Russian oil, then Russians would have to decrease production output because they would be losing money extracting and selling oil. The problem with Russia is Russian oil is expensive. You have to pump water, special solution, and then pump it back, pump special solution into the wells, then pump back, and there will be a little bit of oil that you collect, and then you have to dispose of that solution. It's very expensive. It's not like oil in the Middle East where it costs much, much less. So Russia will not be able to increase the output. Well, anyway, my answer is this. The price of oil would rise if the USA attacks Iran. If it attacks Iran, it's a disaster, okay? Iran is willing to talk. I think the only thing that can save Russia at this point somewhat is USA attacking Iran and getting into another massive war, okay, with Iran. But I don't know by how much the oil prices would jump. I don't think anyone does. Even industry and experts. Anya Ferk, hello from Germany. Guten Abend. Interesting. Thank you so much. Raw hearing for bronchitis. I'm not sure what you mean by raw hearing. Edwin Deleu, thank you from the Netherlands. Thank you so much. Joel, Constantine, not worth the time spent. Oh, that's a great comment. You're so biased. Not worth the time spent. Great, great. I love when someone criticizes me. Don't say it like this. Constantine, you're biased. Where's my bias? Give me your reason, please. I'm asking you. I dare you and double dare you. Where's my bias? How do you see I'm biased? I'd like to see your opinion. Susie Ray, tea, drink tea and honey with honey. I am doing that. I'm drinking my English breakfast every day. English breakfast at Uzbek midnight. GH Cycling, hello from Finland. Howdy, friend. Uwe, guten Abend. Terry, the heroes of the community. Thank you so much for acknowledging they are the heroes. Chris, no one is buying oil from Iran. That is so not true. Ha ha. China is buying everything, all the oil from Iran. China is right next door. Easy logistics, cheaper oil than Russia. China is buying. Where'd you get your information that no one is buying from Iran? The underdog? Oh, you were answering question from Angel. Okay, so that's definitely not correct. China is buying from Iran a lot. Carlos, howdy. Simple question. What does prevent Putin from printing money until the infinite just to support his military apparatus and nothing else? One thing prevents Putin from printing money, that the more he prints, the less valuable money become. And that's it. He won't be able to print enough, fast enough. There are examples, for example, Germany in the 20s, late 20s, hyperinflation. There are good books by German author Erich Maria Remarque. The Black Obelisk. Read that. It's a fantastic book that explains what happened in Germany when the hyperinflation, when they were just printing money, printing, and printing. Putin, that would be that would be weakening his foundation, because his foundation is based on him paying off his servants. The siloviki, the agencies, the federal police, the KGB. If they don't get paid, or if they paid with paper money, that's not worth. They're going to be taking matters into their own hands. And how that would go, no one really knows. So that is a huge risk for Putin. I hope I answered your question. Petra, I have new health issues. I'm very sorry to hear that. Will continue. Sam the Legend K is back. I missed you. How are you, friend? Is it true that Russia is basically going back to the days of trading chickens and other products instead of paying with rubles? Not really. It's just Russia is still trading in dollars. The question is, what does Russia have to offer? If natural resources only, but if no one wants to buy, if the demand for natural resources is low, then Russia won't be selling much. And chickens, it doesn't have enough chickens to sell. Products, which products? Russia has nothing to sell except for wheat. It does grow lots of wheat, sunflowers, sunflower seeds. What else? I don't know. That's pretty much it. I think your question is about barter. Will Russia do barter trading with other countries? Well, it might, but it's not going to be major. Kate Tashit Somo, howdy. Great, it's good. Get your vitamin D3. Has to be. I have checked all the vitamins, okay? I'm a little lower on D3, and I have been taking the combination of D3 and K2 and magnesium and zinc I've been taking 10,000 IU per day, and I don't remember this D3 and K2, the certain amount of K2, they go together. They're you shouldn't take one without another. So, but thank you so much. Leitmotif, you answered so many questions I was going to ask, especially how worldwide economic downturn would affect Russian economy. That's what was my stream about. Actually, I would like to talk more about the tariffs, how they're going to hit everyone, and Russia. I see lots of misunderstanding about tariffs. A lot of people hail tariffs. They think that somehow tariffs are going to do magic for local economies. domestic economies, which is absolutely the opposite what the tariffs is going to do. But that's not today. That's another stream. Nick, guten Abend. Sarah, USN vet. Sarah, I salute you. Good to have you. Thank you for coming. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you. Sounds like post-World War II Germany. Seika, yes, it does. This is where Russia is going to. More and more, I see the signs. And it's absolutely crazy because the country itself, the management of the country, the rulers of the country are taking Russian people straight into post-World War II Germany. You know what? If we take one step further, you know what happened after Germany had post-World War II period, right? So what's going to happen in Russia after that? After this bad period of post-World War-like Germany situation. Andreas Benz, howdy. Alu, howdy, howdy. Per, thank you so much. Ho ho. Paul Gallagher, hope that Iran is not attacked in a big way. Great people that have a lovely country. Issues, yes, in time, they will sort themselves out. Problems with regional things thought might cause that. You know what? The United States just needs that, okay, to attack Iran. That would be just the cherry on top of the pie. Speak softly, turn up the microphone. Can you hear me? Well, let's see how it sounds. Speak softly, turn up the microphone. My mic is like all the way up. Lorna, let's keep this very short, including shorter prayer. Okay, just a couple minutes and let's pray. Yes. KG1, who comes after Putin and will it change the country's direction? That's an 8-ball territory. I don't know. There are so many paths that Russia can go by and no one knows. Get some sunshine, vitamin D, by more walks in those lovely hills. Thank you so much. Thank you. I do that every day. Well, I haven't done that in a couple days, but I'll run to do IVs now. But it's not sunny. It's midnight. Well, 1 in the morning. Daniel, good question. Russian wages increased by 17% nominally. Inflation in Russia is 10%. Stated Росстат, is this BS? Kinda, because they downplay inflation officially. They upplay wage increases. And the real inflation is much, much higher than the nominal one. Many experts agree that the real inflation in 2024 was around 38%. Okay? So go figure. Even if we take 17% salary increase, wage increase, then that's definitely not enough to cover the inflation. And I don't believe that 17% it's. They don't tell us how they calculate. Shiva, how could Russia print money if they can't go to the international markets? You are mistaken printing money and borrowing money. They cannot borrow money in the international markets, that's true. But printing rubles is an internal matter. It's a domestic matter of Russia. They have been printing rubles. They basically have been giving Russia's central bank has been giving Russian commercial banks loans, huge loans, around trillion rubles every month. And Russian banks would turn around and buy Ministry of Finance bonds, okay, and have those bonds as collateral for the central bank. And then that's 1 month loans, short-term loans. And then they would fail to pay back. And instead, they would give these bonds to the central bank as collateral. That's called repo auctioning in Russia. And that's, well, it's half scam, so to speak. You know, it's they're not saying, oh, we are printing money. No, they're saying we're borrowing. But the way they're borrowing is not really market borrowing, so to speak, you know. And that's what they have been doing. When they've been pumping money with this, they've been pumping the economy with this kind of money. But that's pretty much same as now. In 4 years, the amount of money mass in Russia has doubled. Does it tell you anything? Gulags nowadays are getting full. Deborah from California. Yes, please listen. Good to see you. Wayne, Russia needs to stop making weapons help its people. I can't argue with that. There is a path of Russia out of this economic financial mess. First of all, Russia needs, that's a very simple scenario. Russia needs to stop the war, needs to pull out all the soldiers out of Ukraine back into Russia. It needs to stop making military stuff, death. It needs to cut on military spendings and take that money and start fixing the economy. Start fixing Ukraine and start fixing own economy. And that's the way out. But that's not for Putin, not acceptable to Vladimir Putin. Can Russia last to the end of 25? Oh, that will definitely will last, Terry. Bob, thank you so much, friends. I will be back tomorrow. There will be a live stream chat tomorrow. The prayer at the end. So, friends, please join me in prayer. Thank you. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love. Thank you for our families and children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads safe and clear and peaceful. Please give us wisdom to raise our children from in the way that when they grow up, they will never fight in any wars, only make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children healthy and safe. Dear Lord, I am asking for Ukraine. Russia has intensified strikes on Ukraine lately. Please help Ukraine and Ukrainians. Send everyone angels so they keep everyone safe. And help those who have been affected. Soothe their souls, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. Heal their souls. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible for making the decision to stop the bloodshed and have them wake up. Have them feel that they're still human beings with love in their hearts, so they make the decision. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble an army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords Have Saint Michael lead this army and send everyone to the earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their names, by their deeds, and by their faces. Send angels to help good Russians to run their country, to make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Please help everyone who is traveling right now, who's send them safe travels. Help everyone who is in trouble, in danger, in dire straits. Send safety. Help those who are helping Ukrainians. Reward them. Um, Help those Ukrainians who are currently under attacks or under risk of attacks. Send angels to protect everyone. Please help single fathers and mothers who are struggling raising their children, trying to make ends meet. And please help everyone who is sick, hungry, addicted, cold, jobless, homeless, struggling financially, scared, crying, betrayed, going through divorce, not feeling well about himself or herself, um, feeling left and left behind and lonely, losing their faith. Please touch the heart of everyone who is in need of help. Remind that you're right next to them. Um, Remind that you love them, you haven't left them, and you still watch every single step they take. Please help everyone in need, dear Lord. Thank you so much for allowing us to get together here and pray. Thank you for everyone who's praying along with me right now or simply watching us pray. Dear Lord, I have a list of people who need your help. They have Petra Olson, Ron Bazoid, Teresa, um, Jeff, Karsten, Janice Burgess, um, Rose Halbert Bronicky, Ann Larson, her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Katharina Holm, Alex, Mark, Hank's sister, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gaming with Gary, Lisa, Harry, Terry, John, Linda, Paula, Dennis, Jason Carney, Susie, Tim Mayers, Dory, Rhonda, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George, Pamela, Meta, David, Porter, his family, and everyone who is in Chernovtsi, Ukraine, Life, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natalia, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Liz, Ron, Liz, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Joseph, Melissa, Millie, Jodes, Philip, um, Highwayman, Pamela, Denise Abbott, Renata, Janice, Jeff Gibson, and Derek Martinez. Thank you very much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. It's good to be back. Um, uh, we'll be back tomorrow. Please come back. It's going to be a good stream. I have something interesting planned for you. So I'd like to remind you that you're awesome and you rock. And before I sign off, as usual, please repeat after me as loud as you can. Carthago delenda est.